This is Twit.
While I'm at the movie theater, others will be gifting their significant others a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, because that's what's coming out for sale on Friday, February 14th. That's Valentine's Day.
That's like right around the corner. This was one of those events where it was like, hey, here's a futuristic thingy, and oh, by the way, it's going to be out in a couple of days. Go get it.
It's going to be out Friday, just in time for you to put in your lover's little Valentine's Day box. Sorry I said lover, but I'm not.
That's okay.
The phone, if you can afford it, is going to cost $1,380, so $1,380 US, which is a lot of money. But as Samsung said, if you're a trendsetter and an early adopter, that's going to be like a drop in the bucket for you.
Give us your money.
Some of the specs include a 6.7-inch glass display that folds, which was rated at 200,000 folds, kind of throwing some shade over the press that Motorola has been getting. We will talk about that in just a little bit. Also includes a hideaway hinge that's spring-loaded for different angles. Samsung spent a lot of time talking about that during the keynote today, and I definitely agree with a bunch of folks that it was much more interesting than the camera teardown, because it's something a little different that we don't usually talk about. There's a cover display, which again brought me back to the early aughts when the phones would flip over and you would get all of your at-a-glance information on the front, like who was calling you and what time it was. It comes in 3 colors: mirror purple, mirror black, and mirror gold. There's also a Tom Brown edition that will be detailed tomorrow and during New York Fashion Week. So that's going to make a splash.
Who's Tom Brown? Who's Tom Brown?
Tom Brown is quickly Googling it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would know this.
Although I realize I'm probably maybe I'm outside of the demographic, but that was an announcement that was kind of lost on me. I was like, I don't know who this
He's a
dude
men's
is.
fashion designer, which is kind of why I don't know who he is, because I don't dress.
Ryan, it sounds like maybe you know.
All I know is that he apparently gave Samsung the idea to put stripes on the phone.
Okay, that's what that's about all I gathered also.
Yeah.
Which I want to know, why do we get a Tom Brown version and not like a pinky pink magic girl version for people like me?
Truth.
Like, come on.
Truth.
Come on. Anyway, there's no 5G option, which is an interesting move, considering that was the other big buzzword at the keynote today.
Yeah.
So
I'll talk about that in a second.
Samsung didn't even really talk about the specs. Presumably,
they just showed it.
Yeah, presumably because it's not 5G. It can't have the 865 because Qualcomm will only let you use that if you also have a 5G modem. Some of the previous leaks on this phone said that it would be an 855, which was the flagship chip for last year. So that would still be plenty fast. It just won't have 5G, which at this point I'm not too broken up about. I don't think you need to buy a 5G phone, but a lot of people are going to end up with 5G phones this year, whether they want them or not.
Yes, I have a gripe about that, which is it just feels.
So we can. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The Z Flip. So what I'm hearing is that people are impressed with how solid it feels. Like when it's open, it feels like a regular non-foldable phone. In part because it has that foldable glass display. It doesn't feel like a thing that you just unfold. It just feels like a regular phone, and then you fold it up, and it's tiny and it fits your pocket.
I checked in with my pal Caitlin McGarry today because she was at the event, and I had asked her, I was like, does this feel more satisfying to close than the Motorola Razr? And she said yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's my anecdotal evidence that this is much more satisfying to hang up on a person.
Okay, so the hang up,
the Motorola Razr.
The hang up rating is high.
Well, if you're going to have
hang up satisfaction rating. Yeah, no, I think it's an important metric when you're talking about a foldable phone and the clamshell design. You want to know how sasatisfying that hang up is. Because let's face it, there's a lot of people that are going to get that. That's the first thing they're going to do is be like, what's it like? Oh, yeah, that's nice. I know I will.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I feel like I have some thoughts on this. When you have it on the table and it's like propped up like this, I was thinking some developer at some point is going to create, because basically they baked in, and Hiroshi Lockheimer was there to kind of talk a little bit about, the tweaks to Android that would make this Z Flip design work. And of course, they've baked that into Android, that the foldable phone displays can take different apps for different parts of the screen and do it gracefully. And when I see that phone like on a tabletop like this, is sitting on the tabletop, and both of the different parts of the display have different things on them, I'm just thinking some developer is going to create like a mini laptop where the bottom is the keyboard and the top is like your terminal and everything.
For American Girl dolls. That's where my mind went. Yeah.
Yeah? That's going to be kind of neat. I don't know how usable it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're not going to be punching out articles on this, Ryan, but maybe.
Probably not. So, LG's dual screen phones, if you have one of those, I actually have one sitting right here. It's ridiculous. But if you have one of these, you can actually configure, like if you're using LG's keyboard, you open it and sit it down like a laptop, and the keyboard just fills one of the screens and you have content on the other one.
Okay.
And that is obviously much larger than the Samsung phone would be, but it's still not really usable.
More novelty than anything. More we did it because you think that you want it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Once you do
it would look really cool in an ad, and people would be like, "Oh, I totally need that," and then they get it and be like, "I actually don't need this."
This is just not quite what I thought it would be. I'm really curious to get my fingers on that display, because this is foldable glass. It sounds like, people, reviews, or at least early hands-on, people appear to be very smitten, including, of course, David Ruddick from Android Police, who, the headline on his post is, "The Z Flip feels like a regular smartphone, and that's exactly why it's amazing." A lot of other write-ups saying, like, this is actually a pretty spectacular device. Early stages as far as what some early hands-on time is.
I find it so interesting that Samsung apparently is able to do a foldable glass phone right now, but less than a year ago they were like, "Hey, let's release the Galaxy Fold with a plastic screen that causes all kinds of problems."
It is
like,
weird.
Why didn't they just wait to have the glass?
Be first, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. It's a great question.
I feel like they got so much negative press
for
the Fold, though. It was such a mess. Like they had to recall review units. It made like mainstream news. It was a bad call.
Sorry.
No, go.
I just want to say they subtly referred to the things that people complained about last year with the Galaxy Fold in the keynote.
Yeah. They were like, our hinge now, it has this microfiber, like,
to keep dust and particles out.
Yeah. Like that, so that won't end up under your screen. Nudge, nudge.
On a certain level, I doubt this was Samsung's intention, but on a certain level, they did the Fold. They took some lumps and bumps, literally. They were bruised a little bit, but they came out the other end. They learned a lot of really valuable market research about foldables. It's like when we're entering into this new phase of smartphones where people, there's not a whole lot to write about a black slab anymore. We've kind of been in that zone for a couple of years now, for a decent amount of years now. So we're entering into this new kind of smartphone design world where foldables are actually, something that people are maybe asking for or maybe interested in. So they're going to have to make some mistakes in order to get to the device that does it right. And we've seen a lot of foldables, or the few foldables that we've seen, make a lot of mistakes. Samsung has made their mistakes with the first iteration that maybe not as many people were likely to buy because it folds out to the tablet, the larger form factor. Now they're selling a phone that maybe more people are going to buy because it's still just like a phone, and they've learned their lessons, and maybe now they're making a better phone as a result of it.
I feel like a phone that folds out into a tablet is a better goal to have overall. The Galaxy Z Flip, while neat, it feels like very much a lifestyle phone.
Totally.
It's, you open it up and it's like a regular phone. So, it's usable in the ways that we would use a phone, and you fold it up and it's tiny and cute and it fits in your pocket, and that's fun. But that doesn't really, fundamentally change the way we interact with these devices. A phone with like a traditional form factor that you can open up into a tablet and isn't like a buggy, easily broken mess, I feel like that would be a genuinely useful thing. But I mean, the Galaxy Fold clearly was not that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what is more broadly appealing to people, like the general consumer? I don't know. In my head, I kind of feel like the Z Flip is more broadly appealing to the general consumer than the fold out to a tablet.
It definitely is at this point.
Yeah.
I can see people just being really into this in the same way they're kind of into the Razr when it was unveiled,
right,
because it's neat. I think over time people are going to want more from foldable devices, and this is kind of a way to bridge the gap between flat, non-folding devices and folding ones. And I hope that in the future, we'll be able to get something like the Fold that is actually, usable, good device and doesn't have like a tiny screen on the outside and isn't like an inch thick.
Yep. Well, maybe this is baby steps towards that. Who the heck knows? I mean, at this point, it's pretty. I'm guessing that the Note event later this year, we're going to have some sort of a fold iteration. I don't know that I've seen any leaks to point to that, but it kind of seems like what Samsung is setting up here is early year premium smartphone announcement is the S series and the Flip series. Later year is the Note series and the Fold series. I don't know. I guess we'll find out as the year.
I mean, the Note branding would really lend itself well to something like notebook size and shape that unfolds. That just seems like it would be a really nice, really nice thing.
Yeah, the Note Flip. Could totally see it.
There you go. You just gave them their.
Yeah, because they never thought of that.
They can work with moleskin or something to make cases so it looks like a little notebook.
Yes, there we go.
I'm giving away all the good marketing.
I know. Yeah. You should work for Samsung. Whether you want to, that's another story.